Hey everybody, I know it might seem weird doing a lab safety video coming from a channel that really hasn't done many lab videos. However, don't worry, those are coming soon. So I felt it might be very important to go over just some proper lab safety before we get started on those. Granted, some of the videos are not to be replicated, like the catalytic converter video. If I catch any of you doing that at home, I will drive to your house and spank you, and you will be grounded for a week. Now, moving on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what kind of equipment we use. So right here, starting on the left, we have our respirator. This is a 3M respirator, and you can usually pick these up at Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon, eBay. I'll make sure to include a link. But one thing to note is these cartridges, I think these are for organic vapors. I'm not too terribly sure. I'll have to check. But you can replace these cartridges with all kinds of different cartridges. You go to 3M's website, and again, I'll provide a link for that. And they provide a cartridge for organic vapors, acid gas vapors, mercury vapors, just really anything that you would ever have to work with. They make a cartridge for it, because not all cartridges work for the same chemicals. If you're using a particulate filter, it's not going to do anything for chlorine gas. If you're using a chlorine gas filter, it may not do anything for organic vapors. So, moving on from that, we have safety goggles. Safety glasses are not a substitute for safety goggles. If that's the only thing you can find, then postpone your project and make sure you get safety goggles. Face shield, not a substitute for safety goggles, although good to have to protect the rest of your face. Some projects that we do on here may only require the use of safety glasses, and I will be sure to point out which ones those are. We also got gloves right here. I just have these. These go a little bit higher. They're a little bit sturdier. That's for if I'm working with the catalytic converters. These are just for working with regular, average, everyday chemicals. You do not want to use regular, I want to say it's vinyl or latex gloves with fuming nitric acid. I don't know any videos we'll be using fuming nitric acid with, but they will set gloves on fire. Most gloves. I'll have to look back, and I'll leave in the description which specific gloves that fuming nitric acid sets on fire, but those, it's sometimes preferable to work barehanded. Let's see, moving on from there, up here, it's not in this shot, but a lab coat is very necessary. And one tip with certain chemicals, such as hydrochloric acid, whenever it's fuming and strong and those vapors are coming off, what I would like to do is put the gloves on, and then put my lab coat on, and put some duct tape around the sleeves of the glove and around the sleeves of the lab coat, because those vapors will seep up into the gloves, and it will seep up into your lab coat, and you will have a very, 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 very bad day. Let's see, we got the respirator covered, the filters, the face shield. I don't have one. A fume hood is very important. It's not necessary. Not very important, but if you're working indoors with any of these chemicals, a fume hood is just about necessary, unless you have amazing ventilation. I'm talking about fans going up everywhere, doors open, all that good stuff. So moving on from that, standard operating procedures. This is going to kind of mainly concern evaporating solvents, which you never want to do over an open flame. You always want to use a hot plate. You want to have good ventilation. Do not want to do it in an enclosed area. More tips. You don't ever want to evaporate solvents and use a fan to basically suck the vapors from your evaporation container through the fan to push it out, because sparks generated from the motor and the electronics can set fire to it. You always want to have a fan blowing away from your container. Always want to have door open. In the garage, I'll crack the garage and I'll open the garage door and the back door so that we can get a draft going through and just move all that air out. Let's see. storage and handling of hazardous materials, basically like with the catalytic converter video. Gloves, lab coat. In the beginning of it, it wasn't too terribly dangerous because the metals are in their pretty unreactive metallic forms. Now that they have been sitting for a while, the solution is a deep red color. I know that there is dissolved platinum group metals as salts, and that's what's really dangerous that you have to watch out for. And so, like I said, gloves are very important with that. Storing chemicals, you don't ever want to store. You always want to keep heavy stuff on the bottom shelf. You don't ever want to put anything heavy on the top shelf. That's just center of gravity. Makes shelves falling less of a hazard. Let's see. Anything that's glass, you want to be careful with, because if like you have bleach and HCl sitting in the same cabinet, and something happens and they fall and they break, that's just chlorine gas leaking off into the air. You want to be very careful with that. Disposal's a difficult one. I'll make sure to include the link for the EPA handles all disposal. Pretty much that's basically what I did is, my buddy is a painter, so he disposes of organic solvents frequently, acetone, naphtha, stuff like that. So anything that I know isn't contaminated with any hazardous material, just dump the naphtha off into a fuel jug, and that's what you want to store your waste naphtha in, is fuel jugs. And I'll just hand it off to him, and he goes and takes it to the waste disposal site. See, very weak bases and acids are able to be poured down the drain. You don't want to do it in excess, just in general. Again, we want our kids and our kids' kids to be able to enjoy this world. Yada, 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 all that good stuff. Let's see. Pour weak acid. Residual solvents that are left over from containers, that's okay to be poured down the drain in small amounts. But really, you don't want to be pouring anything down the drain. It's just not good for the environment. But in the event that you have no other options, I will be sure to include the EPA's infographic for what to do with common laboratory waste. So let's see. Yada, yada, yada. Just some quick points, tips. One future video we're going to be doing is working with lithium batteries, lithium-ion batteries and lithium polymer batteries. We're going to be trying to extract the cobalt and lithium from those. That's going to require breaking open some batteries. And I will show you how to discharge the batteries so that whenever you cut them open, you don't turn your garage into a fireworks show like I did. Because if it's not fully discharged, whenever you pierce the cells, they will short out, and it will release a lot of dangerous stuff. And I'll actually do either include in the description or do in a future video, go into more detail about the dangers of what happens whenever you break into a non-discharged lithium battery. It's very bright, very pretty, very dangerous. To be honest, I think that's about it. Well, alright. I'm gonna go edit this video, and if there are any more tips, I'll be sure to include them. Thank y'all, and have a wonderful day. Hey guys, I just wanted to come back in and make another note. I am not the end-all, be-all for lab safety and disposal. And please make sure to check other sources. I will be sure to include plenty of sources in the description, and as far as disposal goes, the end-all, be-all for that is going to be the EPA. And I'll be sure to include links to that, which is going to be about 300 pages of really complicated wording that I will read through eventually. I've read through a little bit of it here and there, but like I said, I'll make sure to include links to everything relevant, and in every video that I go over, I will include at least the safety procedures for those specific procedures and disposal. Good tips for disposal, you can go to Walmart, Amazon, whatever it may be, AutoZone, and just get gas jugs. Make sure you label them whatever they are. If there's naphtha, acetone, xylene, DCM, whatever it may be. Make sure it's labeled properly. And thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe. That's all for this video. Some upcoming projects we have, we're going to try to extract some iodine, some elemental iodine from potassium iodide. Was really wanting to check into it's honestly about time for the catalytic converter video, to be honest. I need to get me a big 50-gallon, well, I could probably get by with a 20-gallon drum, but plan to cut a spigot in that and drain out the material, filter off the what is it? Silicate. It's oh man, hold on, brain fart. Ceramic. Yeah, filter off the ceramic material. And then we'll do what's called a stannous chloride test. And well, I'm getting off on a tangent. But yes, that will be coming soon. Alright, thank you for watching, guys. And y'all have a great day.
Hermit crab mimicry. I carry my shell with me, so if the wind lifts me, I'm home despite the shifting. Sifting simply through the sands of time, my mind an hourglass itself. Grew hands to manifest the rhyme before I'm back upon the shelf. So if you feel a similar, familiar sensation, substitute the simian for crustacean dedication. Clap your hands or better, click your claws. The laws inside the nation contain implicit clause, explicit force, extermination. Some defend with venom, while some prefer evasion. Some live in the plenum, but others isolation. Regardless of the habitat, the cataract exists. Consume the womb, a savage act to fill the hollow pit. The rift exposed remains opposed to logic, not to gossip. Dragged down by the undertow, where the bottom feeders frolic. Build your castle made of sand with no plan for support structure. Just don't hassle me with your hand out when the walls fall and crumble.